It's my favorite comedy club in the world.
She's just saying that because we're here right now.
No.
But she says that at every venue.
No, their lemon pepper wings are everything. I mean,
When we first met, it was at a Comedy Central event where you were about to heat things up in a roast battle. I didn't necessarily love my position that day because I had to be a judge against all these Austin comedians that I love going up against each other. What was that day like for you?
It was a lot. It was actually kind of a crazy day because they reached out to Leah Sampson and myself like at 6 o'clock. And then that show was like at 9 o'clock. And they're like, you guys have to battle each other. So, and me and her are really good friends.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have 3 hours to write some mean stuff about my friend.
Me, savage. I was on stage like this. I was like, oh God, I don't want to watch.
And we actually ended up tying, which does not happen very often.
Here in Austin, when I'm harassed, if a guy like tries to chase after me, I know they can't get me. They got on boat shoes, okay? You can't outrun me, Tyler.
Lots of big things, including your recent live recording of your first comedy album.
Yes, it's a really cool thing to record an album, but really to do it at Cap City. It feels like the crowds really want to be here.
What's that like when you're on stage and you know it's filled with people?
The funny thing is, I get more nervous the less people are in a crowd. Like when one person's like, tell me a joke, I'm like, oh no. Because it's like there's so much expectation and I'm giving you all of me and you're just one person and you have to digest it and hopefully like it. I don't get nervous in front of big crowds. The biggest I've done was the Majestic Theater in Dallas, which I believe holds 2,000.
No big deal, folks. 2,000 people? That's mega.
I was opening for Michael Che from SNL.
How did that feel?
It was great. It was such a cool thing to happen. He specifically wanted to have an opener who was a female comic. He had about like 10 other people submit videos, but mine happened to be his favorite. It all kind of happened really fast. Like I think I knew on Monday that I was doing it on Friday. I invited my family and my parents are they are supportive. They just don't always understand.
Give us a window into what the family thinks about your comedy career.
Okay, like would they have handpicked comedy for what I'm doing? Absolutely not, no. I have a sister who is a lawyer, I have a sister who is a teacher. I was supposed to like, I don't know, maybe be a doctor. No, comedian was not on the list. They accept it, my mom doesn't like when I make fun of her. I mean, you raised me. Almost all my childhood experiences are because of you, so you're gonna end up in the set. She's so funny. When I can see her in the crowd, she's like looking through her fingers. It's like I'm about to throw a ball and she's not sure it's gonna make it in the hoop. Like she's like, okay. And then she'll look around at other people laughing and she's like, okay, they like her. My dad's a cackler. If something's funny to him, he's all over the place. Only thing is like if I say something that's like a little R-rated, it's not R-rated. If I just talk about anatomy a little too much for my dad, he'll be like, I could have done without that one, this and that.
My older sister, she's an attorney, very accomplished. My younger sister, she's an educator. She works with at-risk kids. My parents are so proud of them. I'm pretty sure they still tell people I'm a motivational speaker. It's fine.
What will we find in this live album? You talk a lot about yourself in your 20s now that you're in your 30s, and you've got that insight.
Yes, a lot about really finding your voice in a relationship, learning to have standards by making some terrible mistakes and not having them. For everyone listening to feel like, oh, I need to love myself a little bit more before I learn to love anyone else. A little bit about sex, because that is life and that's what humans do. A lot of bit about drinking, because that's what I do.
This is Sprite. These bubbles are Sprite. We don't drink on this show.
No.
What's it like when you share your personal life?
I always tell myself, well, that's what I signed up for. Every comedian is somebody's daughter or son. All the crazy things that happen in life are part of it, and it relates to somebody.
What is fun about the live recording aspect? Because it's also kind of scary.
I feel like I work better under pressure. Some of the best shows I've ever had have been like, for example, that roast battle. I only had 3 hours to prepare. Most people have weeks. When I'm like driving straight from another gig and I get to the show 15 minutes before I'm supposed to be on stage, I like that rush of energy of like, this is all you got. This is the only chance you have, so make it count.
All I can hear is like Eminem, Lose Yourself in my head.
One shot. Or one opportunity.
Why Austin? You have Texas ties.
But I feel like Austin crowds are just there with you a little bit more. They're like, I don't know who she is, but let's see. I mean, the kind of people who go look at bats, you know what I mean? Like, they just want to see what's out there.
And 92% of the time, the bats do not show. Okay. But the people keep showing up.
It's the natural curiosity of Austinites. They're just like, what is this? What's going on here? Who's playing? They don't need it to be some big name. They don't need, they want to know who's next. And I think I'm next, you know?
I do too. In the comedy world, hecklers comes up a lot.
Okay.
So tell me,
I'm taking a big sip on this.
Your experience with hecklers, how you prepare for that.
I've grown a lot because I did radio before I did stand-up, so I wasn't scared to talk in front of a group, but I wasn't polished. And I learned quickly that you gotta get to the point sometimes. And I did a show once, and it was at this like billiard hall, and these people did not expect comedy, and those are the worst shows. When people are like, why is comedy happening to me? And they start fighting back. And this guy hated me. And he just ate me alive and just kept yelling things at me. Honestly, like what made it end was another woman in the crowd got up. I don't know how she knew him, but she was just like, Frank, nobody likes you. That's why you can't see your kids no more. And then they just started going at it. And I was like, thank y'all for your time. I moonwalked out of the room. I was like, I'm done, I'm gone. But now I make it clear that I'm in control and this is my joke. I don't think you're ever gonna see Jasmine Ellis in one of those comedian destroys heckler videos. Like, I don't think that'll actually be, oh God, I hope not. You'll know I hit my bottom if you see me on the
How do you feel as a comedian in Austin? And can you make it here? Because so often we see creatives having to leave Austin to fulfill their dreams.
I want to believe I can stay here too. I hope that is something that I can do. I'm still always gonna have a big piece of my heart right here. So I'm gonna continue to host my own shows. I've got a show called Been Living Color that I do at Fallout Theater. It is stand-up, storytelling, sketch, improv, all from people who are marginalized in some sense, just to give them a space to be on stage, and I host it. It's interesting to see the different kinds of crowds you get to be in front of in Austin. Just all you have to do is just cross one street and you're like, you know, Cap City tends to be like married couples, slightly older, like not older, but like in their 30s, you know, people who—
You're in your 30s.
I know.
Are we old now?
No. Adults. All right,
There you go.
people who are on their own insurance. Okay. I hope I get to continue here in Austin and get to just keep bringing content that I really believe in.